Greetings, Internet. Today I wanted to talk about who I am, my history in crypto, why I made Shiva Inu, and what makes us different. To start with my history, I got in crypto in 2017. Within a month, I learned about it while I was in school. Early 2017, ETH was like $30 or something. And I was just watching the ETH chart, looking at the thing. I was like, "What the fuck is this thing, dude? What the hell?" But I was busy with finals at the time, so I waited until after finals before I really started digging into crypto. By that time, ETH was like $75 on its way to 150, and I immediately sold my life savings of $2,000 at the time, and put almost all of it into Ethereum at between $150 and $250. And then spent a full month just researching blockchain for like 12 hours a day and just trying to figure out what the fuck I was holding. uh, and it took me, after I finished my basic research, I began day trading full time on the first decentralized exchange called Ether Delta back in the day. Um, Basically, it was like a hybrid deck, so it wasn't like Uniswap where you can just trade straight from your wallet. You had to send it to a smart contract first, but only you had access to that smart contract. At least while shit was good. I think they rugged after like a year or something. But anyway, traded on Ether Delta for 6 months. Turned 1K. My 1K that I had in crypto, I turned it into $100,000 in 6 months. Got all. I was super cocky. I just learned about this crypto shit, invested all my time into it, and all of a sudden I had 100K out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm a genius. This shit's awesome. It's the future. Never selling. Moved to Mexico. This is 2018. So right as the market started to crash. Went to Mexico for an anarchist conference called Anarchapulco in Acapulco, Mexico. Went to that. Super fun. Free drugs. Lots of awesome people. Lots of crypto bros. And I held ETH all the way down 95%. So my entire life savings was in Ethereum, and I held it all the way down the full 95% until I could no longer afford to live in Mexico, and went back to the US, joined the Navy. Why the Navy? I wanted to go back to school, and I also didn't want to worry about rent, so I could just solely focus on putting all of my money into crypto like a degen. And also, I had just finished spending time with a bunch of anarchists, and I was like, is the government really that bad? Are the people really that evil? Or is it a mixed bag? Spoiler alert, it's a mixed bag. Yeah, I was in the Navy for a couple years, onboarded a couple people, got kicked out. I did drugs after it was one of our tours during COVID. Got caught, got kicked out. Took them 7 months to separate me. So I was in the Navy for a total of 2 years, and put pretty much all of my spare income into like Bitcoin and Ethereum during those 2 years. And so by the time 2021 rolled around, we were fucking balling. So I spent about 8 months unemployed in San Diego, California, while I just watched my crypto wealth fucking skyrocket to past $250,000. And then I just got high and traded shit coins like a complete degenerate. My marriage wasn't going so well at the time, so I was just kind of getting high and passing the days playing video games and trading shit coins and NFT games and whatever. Basically just squandering my wealth, my newly acquired wealth, and ended up losing most of it in rug pulls. Not all of it. And during that time, my wife got in a car crash. Not bad, but our insurance ended up not covering it. So we ended up with $100,000 medical bill, and I'm just like, oh fuck that shit, hell no. So we came up with the brilliant idea to move to Puerto Rico and burn through the rest of our crypto cash so that we could declare bankruptcy without having to launder any money. So we moved to Puerto Rico for a year or so, and squandered the rest of the money until we were pretty much broke. Then moved back to the US, and I was working manufacturing for about a year and a half. And then my wife divorced me. And yeah, I launched PulseChain during that, right before my wife divorced me, like 6 months before. Or I launched Shiba Inu on PulseChain, I should say. So yeah, that was kind of like the last straw in terms of me giving a shit about anything besides like technology and crypto. So yeah, it's been about 4 months now since we got divorced. And I'm gonna be going back to school in the fall. I pretty much came up with a game plan to use student loan debt to temporarily increase how much crypto I can buy in the next like 5 years. So I'm gonna get in a ridiculous amount of student loan debt to cover my cost of living, my rent, and all that, food, car, all that good shit. Cover it for like 5 years while I can dollar cost average as much of my spare capital as possible into crypto and my projects. And then probably flee the country with all my crypto money and maybe use my degree somewhere else. We'll see. That's pretty much the game plan right now. You know, call me an idiot or whatever for purposefully getting into debt that I can't erase with bankruptcy, but I don't really give a shit about traditional finance or fiat money, to be honest. If I can't store my value in my brain, I don't really care about it. Sorry, not sorry. Anyhow, so why did I launch PulseChain? I launched why did I launch Shiba Inu on PulseChain? I launched it on PulseChain and not a different blockchain just because Richard Hart is hilarious. He's like Donald Trump. He's just funny. He's a meme. He's good. He's entertaining. And also PulseChain is its code is very similar to Ethereum, so I trust it to be secure and decentralized enough. Not in ownership of the supply. Richard Hart owns 90+% of the tokens, but in terms of the decentralization of the network itself, the protocol, I think it's fairly robust as far as other options out there for blockchains. And it's cheaper. Fuck the ETH gas fees. Hell no. Fuck that shit. So as for why I launched a shit token in the first place, is to try and reduce my susceptibility to degenerate gambling behavior. I've been in crypto, like the reason I'm in crypto is more political than financial. But while I've been in crypto for these 7 years, I've been pretty much at the mercy of the markets, gambling on shitcoins for the most part. And so I decided rather than gambling on other people's shitcoins, I would much rather gamble on my own shitcoins. And rather than, gambling on them for, to say, because I was gambling on Shiba Inu when I first launched it. I was hoping the price would go higher, and I was buying more than I could really afford to. And that's why, unfortunately, I did actually have to sell Shiba Inu during the bankruptcy or during the divorce to cover rent for the last month of rent. So yeah, that's why Shiba Inu is on a dip right now. So anyhow, rather than trying to gamble on Shiba Inu per se, I'm really trying to just steadily buy only when I have no more tokens. Like I want to be utilizing like 95% of my liquid Shiba Inu towards liquidity providing across all chains. I really want to just make my money on Shiv from LP fees and have that be that. But there is kind of a issue between providing LP in Uniswap v3, because you have to, if it was v2 it would just like auto compound, but in v3 I have to manually claim it, and so if I burn too much of the LP, I won't be able to claim those LP fees anymore, which is good and bad. Makes Shiba Inu deflationary, which is cool, but bad in the sense that I can no longer profit as much off of my creation without actually literally having to sell tokens. So there's a balance there. But I do want, I mean, that's why all the liquidity on PulseChain is burnt. For these other forks, they're not. I'm willing to burn liquidity over time, but I want the price of these airdrops to pump before I burn any LP tokens, so that if we as a community decide for me to do something else with the LP later, or like, yeah, fuck Shiv on base or fuck Shiv on BSC, let's just pump it on PulseChain or whatever, we can do that. We have the option to do that for now. So yeah, basically Shiba Inu is me trying to become less degenerate and more social. And as for what makes us different, I really think we're very fairly priced right now. We're at a $15,000 market cap, and we have technically we have like 250 holders, but I did a couple airdrops, so I would say we have maybe 80 real holders, and as for people holding significant amounts, maybe 30. Which isn't terrible for our market cap, but like I've seen plenty of shitcoins launch with way higher market caps with way fewer holders. And you know, having real holders is trying to differentiate between fake holders and real holders is like fucking impossible. But I don't know. I think for the size of our community and for the number of holders we have and our market cap, we're pretty reasonably priced. And I think it's cool that, you know, you don't have to have a gazillion crypto dollars to get a sizable position in Shiba Inu right now. I don't think that's going to be the case forever, because eventually I'm going to get my shit together and work for a couple of years consistently and buy my own tokens and add liquidity, and it won't be $75 to get a 2 billion SHIB position. It might be $750 in a year or two. Who knows? So yeah, I think it's pretty cool that right now anyone, pretty much, if you got $75, you have the opportunity to be, you know, one of the elite. There's never going to be more than 200 people that own 2 billion SHIV. Actually, I don't think there's even going to be 160 people that can own 2 billion SHIV, because I burnt like 20% of the SHIV supply. Anyhow, besides being reasonably priced, what makes SHIV different is that we are microcap, but I have the burning passion as if this were a multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency. So although I'm only a mere human and not rich, unfortunately, at least not anymore, I do have a strong desire to make Shiba Inu flourish no matter how many years it takes, and reward the holders no matter how many years they hold. So as long as I am living and breathing, I'm going to be interested and excited about blockchain technology and storing my wealth in blockchain technology. And, you know, we could basically say that Shiba Inu is my life's work right now, and it's a $15,000 microcap shitcoin at the same time. So if you want to place your bets, and you know, it's only $75. If you got a size, any reasonable, you know, if you're from a first world country and you got a reasonable crypto portfolio, it's not a very big bet. Place a bet on the random anon loser, former degen Shiba Inu founder, and see where it takes us in a couple years. I think we're gonna win pretty hard. I can't guarantee we're gonna win as hard as you know, whatever meme coin of the day goes up 50,000x. Shiba Inu on Ethereum that just launched went up 50,000x or 50,000% in a day. Like, sorry, I can't compete with that. But what I can do is I can make my very best effort to make sure that Shiba Inu on PulseChain outperforms PulseChain itself. And I think that's a reasonable bet to take. And that's where we're at. I just want my tokens to perform better than the underlying token that the LP is tied to. That's my goal. And I think it's a pretty reasonable goal. And yeah. Cheers. See you in Telegram.